Hello, hi there, gorgeous Sagittariuses. Happy New Year. I do hope that you are all well and happy 2019. This is your love horoscope for January 2019. I've got to get used to saying that. How is your year starting off? I hope it's starting off marvelously. So, if you watch me for the first time, I am a psychic reader, so I don't read tarot cards. I link in with my spirit guides because that's how I do all of my readings. And if you'd like to know more about me and my services, just look at the links below and they will tell you more about me, or perhaps you'd get a private reading as well. So most of you know I do like to just jump right in there with what it is that I see, what I'm predicting for you for the next 4 weeks, starting from the 6th of January for the next remaining 4 weeks of January 2019. Very much focus on your love life. So it's a bit weird because when I look at Sagittariuses, you feel very much that you feel like you're isolated. Now, that doesn't mean that you might feel like that if you're single. You might feel a little bit on your own more than usual. But this is very much coming up if you are in a relationship also, that you might feel that you are on your own. You might feel like you're doing things in isolation than you would have before. And I think whether you're single or whether you are in a relationship, the feeling is like you just getting on with it and focusing on yourself and just plodding along. But it feels very mechanical, if I'm being honest with you. It feels like I'm doing this and I'm doing that and things might be going in the right direction, but I feel a little bit bored and I feel a little bit lonely. And the reason why I picked this up, particularly if you're in a relationship, because it feels more like it's magnified because you are in a relationship. I think if you're single, then you're like, okay, well, I'm single, so of course I'm going to feel maybe like I'm getting on with things and doing stuff, and it feels a little bit mechanical and boring, i.e. there isn't that kind of romance in my life to kind of spur me on. But if you're in a relationship, you might be feeling that more, because what it seems to do is it feels like you're trying to distract or ignore that there's possibly a problem, or that you're more worried that there is a problem and you're just trying to like brush it under the carpet a little bit by just, I guess no wars is a good thing and no arguments are a good thing. But if you're not doing things together or spending quality time together, or perhaps the spark has gone, or perhaps there's just a dynamic that's gone, you just seem to be burying it a little bit and again becoming a bit mechanical. Now, the only bonus to that, if you're single or in a relationship where that is happening, is it does allow you to focus on some things that you can sort of grow and build and focus more on yourself. So it is an energy to take advantage of, personal development. Maybe you start a course, maybe you'll be able to focus on your New Year's resolution a lot more better, because it's going to put you in a much more single-minded state of mind. And that definitely feels like that's how it's going to be for the first 2 weeks, I should say, of January. But do not fear, because it feels like it only seems to last that long. Because those of you who are in a relationship and you perhaps are burying this because you're worried that some dynamic has changed, it seems to swing a little bit back around in your favor sort of midway through January, where you're facing back to each other. You then start to turn to each other, and then you're like, oh, there you are, soulmate. Where have you been? And then they're like, where have you been? And you feel like you much more reconnect. And I probably want to say that maybe this is a bit deliberate. Maybe this is both of you needed to have this time to kind of just do your own thing, or perhaps your partner needed to just focus on what they were doing. And that's the beauty of sometimes long-term relationships, is that sometimes you should be able to just slightly come apart without actually coming apart, if you can understand me. And if you're single, it's from the mid part that you're likely to be, my guides are using the words, you're at your most attractive, your most alluring, that you would allure an equal partner. So it's quite specific in terms of compatibility, not just a fling or somebody that is here 1 minute and then gone the next. They're saying somebody who mirrors you, this is a soulmate connection, basically, somebody who there's longevity. Actually, I am getting for some Sagittarius who are single in particular, about engagements, or I should say meeting somebody who longer term would end up like marriage. So it could be that also Sagittarius who are in a relationship but not married, the midway point, there is an engagement, which would be like, woohoo, I thought there was something wrong and now it's not. But if you're single, it feels like this compatible partner that you would meet does ring the bells of it being so compatible that they could lead to that. So it might feel like you're starting a little bit on autopilot and a little bit lonely and a little bit like doing things on your own. If you're used to a partnership in particular where you do lots of things together and then suddenly it's not there, you might feel this sense of isolation that I'm talking about. But then from the midpoint forward, as you both turn to face each other, or if you're single, you meet this new compatible person, it feels like, I don't know how to explain this, because it feels like creative in the way that you both move forward together. So I guess some of the old stuff would come back, or if you're in a new relationship, you're sort of, going along with things in the kind of traditional sense. But I kind of feel like there's something new that's brought in, that's much more creative, that you perhaps do together, that you, I get some travel plans also as well, breaks away, even if you're single. Excuse me. I swallowed funny. I only ever do one takes of these. I was doing so well, and then I swallowed funny. Sorry, you got ugly cough then, Sagittarius. But anyway, before I started to choke, is you've got all this kind of beautiful creative energy coming between you, and trust and honesty. Now, I think that's really important if you're single and you've just met this compatible person, that part of the measure for you, Sagittarius, is where you value loyalty and trust, is that you have somebody who feels like on paper and in their actions and their words fairly early on as being trustworthy, very, very truthful. But overall, the thing that I'm getting for you guys in January is that your soulmate isn't gone and you're about to meet your soulmate. I can't say better than that. It's beautiful. So it might start in this isolating way, but it basically gets better and better and better and better. So my dears, I hope that's been helpful. I will be back in February with your next update. Take care now. Bye-bye.